I'm here with Emily Jones, a former Wycombe High School student. So why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Emily Jones. I'm studying at the University of Leeds for civil engineering. Um, I did maths, physics, and put design at A levels last year.
And did you always want to do civil engineering, or if you were younger, what changed your mind?
I always knew I wanted to go into like a STEM-based subject, either physics or engineering. But I think it was after the careers fair at Wycombe High that I actually decided, like me talking to civil engineers, I actually decided that civil engineering was the path I wanted to go down.
And within civil engineering, did you ever have any role models um, in that career path?
My granddad was a civil engineer. Um, he he built like helped build like automatic trains and that sort of stuff. It was very impressive. I got inspiration from him, but I think also just meeting people at the careers fair that helped.
So how did you actually go about applying for your position at Leeds now? And do you have any advice on how to get where you are currently?
Um, I used the personal statement. I think I talked to teachers. I got their feedback on how to improve it and make it as well-rounded as it was. I think I was lucky enough to be predicted good enough grades. So I think that also helped because I think quite a lot of STEM subjects, they will look at personal statements, but also grades do matter quite a bit. So you have to understand the context behind it before going into uni.
And did you ever have any challenges when you were applying, or obviously going into it from a woman in STEM perspective? Were there any challenges?
I didn't have any challenges. I managed to get all 5 offers. Um, so it helped me, like I had the range to be able to pick which ones I wanted. So I didn't have any challenges to that, no.
Was Leeds always your first choice then in uni, or how did you go about picking which one you wanted to do in the end?
I think I was originally choosing between Southampton, Nottingham, or Leeds. I think I did really enjoy Leeds, but I think it was half grades because Southampton had a higher grade boundary. And I wasn't 100% at the time, I wasn't 100% sure if I could manage to get that. So I thought Leeds, I really enjoyed it. I came here and I loved the fact that it was near the city centre. It's like 20-minute walk to the city centre, but like it's not surrounded by built like high-rise buildings. And it's a great community here.
So moving on to currently what you're doing within Leeds, what does a typical day look like for you as a uni student?
Um, I usually have like at least one lecture a day. Um, I think I have about 16 hours a week, so more than some students. I usually get up around 9, 10, um, and try and do some work, go to the library. The library's massively helped me here. And it's quite a calming zone rather than in my room where I tend to get distracted. But I usually have lectures, quite a few group projects at Leeds for civil engineering. So it's like I can end up chatting with them, talking about what we need to progress and how in order to get a good grade. Yeah.
And what would you say is one of your favourite things about the course or the university as a whole?
Um, I really enjoy one of the modules, which is called IDP, Integrated Design Project, where you work as a group to come up with a concept. Our last project was to create a raised walkway from a first floor building down to the ground in a creative way, and then we had to design like the braces, the foundations, the columns, and the piles underneath it in order to make it structurally sound. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting. And obviously you're very good at it because you've just won an ICE undergrad scholarship. So could you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, I applied, I think around March last year, um, and you had to basically answer a bunch of questions, a bit like a personal statement, like saying why you wanted to go into civil engineering, any specific areas which you enjoy, and you're also a bit personal, like what's your biggest personal achievement? And then I managed to get through to the interview stage where there was a list of 20 companies and I got to pick 5 which I wanted to be interviewed by, from like looking online, seeing what they've done in the past. I managed to get 6 interviews, which was so nice. And after the interviews, I then ranked them on which ones I liked the most, which ones I liked the least. And then the companies also did the same with everyone they interviewed. And then the ICE, the Institute of Civil Engineers, they will then match you up with a company, and then you will get summer placements with them. You get a up to eight grand bursary, which you don't have to pay back throughout your course. And if you have a year in industry, which I'm going to be having, between my 2nd and 3rd year, you get that's already sorted for you, and you get a job after university as well, which will be good.
Well, congratulations. In terms of interviews, how did you go about it? Because obviously 6 is quite a lot. And do you have any tips for interviews?
My dad has had like experience with interviewing people for jobs, so he gave me like a few list of questions which he's used before, so I kind of planned out answers which I could write for them. I also looked online for other questions similar. I think admitted the first few ones they didn't go as well, but I think from them I then learned what type of questions they would be asking, and I basically wrote a plan, and because it was online I managed to have like the screen up with the interview, and at the side I had the notes of the list of things which I thought I needed to answer. I think also having a variety of things to talk about, like many situations, like I talked about my gold DAV and how that helped with leadership and working as a team. And I talked about scouting as well, and I talked about Wycombe High going to all-girls school was quite good at mediating and sorting out drama, as some will say.
And obviously, in terms of your career is only just beginning, what do you hope to achieve within the future?
I at the moment my goal is just to get chartered as an engineer, which is you basically you have the academic side where I'm going to be doing a master's, and then you have a certain amount of years of like actually applying it, and there's almost like a checklist of things which you have to do in order to show that you know what you're doing, you are good at what you're doing, and then the ICE board will basically interview you. You have a presentation to say this is why I think I should be a chartered engineer, and they will either award you or they won't award you the chartership. You do get paid more, but it also means that internationally people know that you know what you're doing and you're qualified to help build buildings or bridges or rails or whatever it is you're making.
Well, I hope that goes well in the future, and obviously masters is very impressive as well. And finally, do you have one piece of advice for everyone watching? So all the young girls that might be watching, what would you say to them if they want to go into a career similar?
I think I don't think it really matters like what gender you are. Like it's as long as you have the knowledge in order to do it. I think if you just keep going forward, like don't be put off because you're like, oh, I don't think I'm going to be as smart. Like you never know. Like I wouldn't say that I'm the smartest in the group, but like there are people around you to help support you, and if you are struggling, you can help, and it doesn't matter whether you're whatever gender you are, you all work together. You're all going to be doing the same job, so it doesn't really matter.
Fair enough. And obviously teamwork is a nice aspect to have as well within a career.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for your time.
No worries.